What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to discuss and debrief the Coventry versus Oxford 2-2 draw, which quite frankly, I am rattled over. I think it was a pathetic second half performance, and I'm a bit angry. So I got down into my room, I grabbed a drink. I'm on my last day of vacation, so I do want to apologize that I didn't upload this week. I like to get a couple in a week, but if you've seen on my Twitter and my TikTok, the social media is blocked. The Wi-Fi is terrible, so I've been doing what I can. I've been uploading on there, but no long-form videos, so whatever. We will get back to the grind. I'm going to be back home tomorrow. I've got Drink in Coventry City, and I've got a ton of videos, tons of collaborations going, but that is not the point of today. By the way, drink, because of what just happened, is a Corona sunrise, because Coventry just made me want to drink. Really, this is going to be a tale of two halves. Very bipolar performance by the team today. Lots of things I want to talk through. Let's start with the lineup. The lineup was unchanged for the third time in a row. I do like that lineup. It's definitely what I wanted, so I have no complaints there. It was nice to see Sox and Ben Sheaf on the bench. It's good to see that they made it back before international break, as it was rumored they were both going to be out until then. So cool, all happy there. First half, great start, very energetic. The passing lanes were there, the runs were there. I think the thing that I was a bit scared of, and honestly it did eventually end up coming true, was that we were going to have a repeat of the playoffs where the team just set up defensively, low block, and they just knew what they were going for. They were going for the point, maybe steal one at the end. And you know what? In the first half, they were able to break that down beautifully. So the passing lanes that were created by Radoni, Milan, BTA, just the movement between them. My stream actually got frozen on a specific screenshot. I'm not going to put it in because this is a low-tech editing session. Just trying to get this out as quick as possible, but there was a pause in the game for about 30 seconds, and I was just looking at the position of every player, and what it looked like was you had Milan in the right wing, you had Radoni sort of in like a right center mid area, then you had BTA up top as like a number 9, then you had Haji as a number 10. So the fact that they're just so able to just shift their way around and just move so fluidly between those positions, like they can just kind of feel when someone drifts out of position and they know to naturally progress into that space. That is definitely the making of a defensive tactical nightmare for opposing teams. And yes, in the first half we saw it. We got a Haji goal. We could have had probably 2 or 3 in the first half. We ended up getting 2. By the way, Torp, such a good player. Such a nice free kick. I love the fact that he won the free kick. He got up, he took possession, and he just banged it in. So that was really nice. Him and Haji are tied for the golden boot, which is hilarious to think. And on top of that, they broke a record. The most goals in the first 4 matches of the EFL Championship season. But on top of that, they also have a negative record, because I guarantee you this has never happened before. Someone will fact check me, it's probably wrong. But 8 goals, 8 set pieces. Are you freaking kidding me, man? 8 set piece goals in 4 games, that's 2 a game. That is ridiculous. Bobby Thomas, you gotta be smarter. Yes, you are young, you're inexperienced, but you and Kitching are like, you're growing into this role of being like quote-unquote vets in this team. It's not that old of a team. There's a lot of young guys. You need to be smarter up here. Why are you giving away a free kick in a dangerous area on a ball that was just booted up the pitch by the keeper? Nothing is coming from that. The best case scenario for them is to win a free kick, because we know Oxford are good on set pieces. Clearly they showed it today. That's why they are walking away with a point, and we are all walking away pissed off. Clearly it's a strength of theirs. They practice it, and we cannot stop set pieces for shit. Rushworth made a good save on the first one. He didn't deflect it into the best area, but I will say it was absolutely pinged in there by Brannigan, so I'm not mad at that at all. I don't have any issues with that. And, a rebound is a rebound. There's really nothing you can do, but the wall, I'm not exactly sure how they let it through because it was low driven, as was the second one. The second goal, direct free kick. I could see it coming from a mile away. I said it to the person that I was watching with. I knew that was going in. He pulled the sneaky little Ivan Toney cheat code, move it 2 yards to the right after the keeper sets the wall up, and look what happened. Again, another low driven. I mean, I don't know how you don't see that coming. He's obviously taking the shot. So that was really frustrating, but you just knew, because genuinely, I'm sorry I'm going over to the negative so fast, but I'm just really frustrated. And that second half was probably the worst half of football I've seen them play in the time that I've watched this team. There was no shape. There was no formation. Anytime they got the ball down the wing, Van Ewijk and Jay DeSilva were nowhere to be found. This is the thing that I was scared of, and I have it written down in my notes. I wrote it down in the first half because I didn't see it yet, but I saw it coming. You don't want to fall into the Manchester City paradox where, you're so confident going forward. You think you're going to shit on every fullback, every defender, every team, that when you lose the ball, you have 2 defenders back, 3 defenders back. So you have Grimes, Kitching, and Bobby Thomas to defend how many ever players they get forward on the attack. So that is something. They need to stay humble, as Erling Haaland said. They absolutely need to stay humble and remind themselves that they are not going to destroy every single team. Obviously, it's good to play with a swagger, but you have to also be smart when you have a swagger to you. The best teams are the ones that aren't too overconfident on the attack. Like, they commit numbers forward, but they're conservative with it, They make sure that they're not going to send both fullbacks forward. They're not going to send both midfielders forward. Grimes is like that security blanket. By the way, Grimes put in an absolute shift today. I don't want to hear anything about Grimes. Grimes genuinely probably covered more ground than BTA, EMC, and Haji Wright, which is an insane thing to say. BTA put in a good defensive shift. Even Haji got back. I thought EMC was a little lazy today. I have noticed that because Jack Rodoni prefers the right side and he's got such strong link-up play with Milan, the left side goes a little underutilized because, De Silva's not providing much on the attack. They did start going down the left in the second half, but honestly, it just started to feel like the preseason / the playoffs last year where they were just trying to force shit because they couldn't slow the game down, get possession. If you come out in the second half and you dominate the first 5 to 10 minutes with possession, the game's over. You're winning that game 3-1, 4-1. I don't care what anyone says. Oxford came out and they were the better team in the second half. In the first 10 and the entire 45, they were the better team. They were making runs. They were active. You would not have thought that they were a bottom table, possibly relegation team, and we were a fringe promotion team. All right, and after BTA's godly run of 2-3 games, I definitely will say he was off the mark today. He skied one when he was inside the penalty area. Milan did the same thing, but Milan's was from an awkward angle. I'm not too bothered about Milan doing that, but BTA, you got to put that on target, man. He was definitely just less involved today. The chaoticness was not there in the second half. In the first half, it was in full effect, but he had a rough day today. I definitely think that Sakamoto earned himself a chance to get back into the squad. And it's funny how quick things change because, 2-3 days ago, I was like, BTA, BTA, BTA. But when Sox came on, which he came on way too late for my liking, I don't know why Frank is so hesitant to make subs. I think that Chiefs and Sakamoto should have been brought on in the 70th minute, the latest, to try to suffocate the game, because what do you need in a game when you're up 2-1 and you're trying to slow down a team that's pushing? You need possession. You need to slow the play down. Those two guys are the kings of doing that. Sakamoto came in. He had 8 minutes of gameplay. He put in a beautiful ball to Haji after beating 2 defenders. And Haji, you got to do better there, man. I think he was trying to do too much. I get that you want to lift the ball in order to, get past the back line of defenders. But I think he was trying to be a little fancy there just because, he's been feeling himself. He's been playing really good. And you could just tell as soon as he hit it, he knew. He just walked away. I think we definitely uncovered some stuff today. I think it's important that we take this and we work with it. It's not a complete failure. Obviously, a point is still a point. We saw Blues get their first loss yesterday. No team is going to be immortal. No team is going to win every single game. But what's important is you take the losses or, the draws. It really feels like a loss, and you learn from it. So we learned today that we need to take control of games. We aren't going to win every game by 4 or 5 goals. I've been saying that, and we saw it firsthand today. We are not going to win every game by multiple goals. You need to know how to play the game. You need to know gamesmanship. You need to know slowing the play down. You need to know when to turn it on and when to turn it off on your super chaotic and fast attack. They needed to slow the game down. They needed Grimes to take control. Grimes had to put in a shift because our fullbacks were nowhere to be found today. Our forwards were nowhere to be found on defense in the second half today. Grimes genuinely covered 2 or 3 players today. He was in our box, in their 6, our 6, in the middle of the pitch, putting in tackles. He was probably my favorite player today to watch. Let me see what the rating is. This is why I like doing these reviews right after the game, because it's completely unbiased. I don't even listen to commentators normally because I usually get the weird commentators, especially if I watch Paramount Plus. They don't have like the classic people that you guys get. I like to just go in super unbiased. So the man of the match rating wise was Jack Rodoni, which, you know what, that's fair. Jack Rodoni was all over the place today. His dribbling was really impressing me today. Carried right over from the match against QPR, where he was just kind of feeling himself. Yeah, 6 of 6 successful dribbles. What was Grimes' rating? Grimes had a 6.9. Yeah, like that to me, just that makes no sense. 5 of 10 accurate long balls. Yeah, but he had to try stuff at the end. There were a few that I was like, what in the world was that? But again, I just think his defensive contributions today were just so good. But I mean, listen, I could go into so many different things today. I think that we gave away too many stupid fouls. Obviously, the set piece thing is a serious issue. Now it's just becoming a mental thing. I wish the wall would have picked up on the fact that he moved the ball and told the ref. That's unfortunate. I guess he waited for the perfect time. Because I saw it and I didn't think much of it, but, that does make a whole world of a difference. Going into the international break, it's not the way that you wanted it to end, but it is okay because, not a lot of our guys are going to go on international duty, so they're going to be back in, they're going to be fired up. Maybe it's a good thing to light a fire under our ass. I know we have a very tough September. We have Norwich City, we have Birmingham, we have Leicester, so it's going to be a tough stretch of games when we get back. So rest up, boys. That is going to be all from me. I'll be putting out content all week. Remember, like I said, the drink in Coventry City should be out on Monday by 7 p.m. UK. So thank you again. Play up Sky Blues. And we'll take the point, but we're not happy with it. Peace.